Hello guys, today I'm gonna cast you some WWPC games, and this one is the first round of the final between the champion, which is Tokyto, and against Mr. Smith. I wanted to show you how and try to understand how Tokyto is playing in these games, because some people already know him, that he likes snipes and cheese, and so we will try to catch it and watch when he's gonna do that. And if he's gonna do it again against Mr. Smith, because this is kind of a hard map to cheese too much, because it's 20 kilometers, you need to expand on islands, and it's easy to lose to navy or to air, so that requires some skills, and I believe Tokyto definitely has them. Some people can call him that the only thing that he can do is just to snipe with beetles or some other kind of snipes, and he doesn't really know how to play. So let's see if it's true or not. I can speed it up a bit more at the beginning. It looks like it's gonna be standard air with a lot of pigeon because there's a lot of mass to reclaim, so he's doing the right thing, sending NGs to expand, and this is too fast. And going for air factory, and what you want to do on this map is drop as fast as you can to those islands, at least get one, the big one, and maybe two of these. It's like optional target, and then maybe fight for the other one. And it's really up to you which one you're gonna drop, but usually you have to drop both because that's what enemy does. And you have to fight for them. The Tokyto is going straight for transport, loading 4 NGs, 5, and going from the right island. Meanwhile, you have to really spam a lot of energy on this one because you have quite a lot of mass available in the ice. So once you start reclaiming, you won't have mass problems. Okay, he's trying to catch Mr. Smith transport with the Inti and a scout, and successful drop. Maybe I would drop like 2 NGs here and try to drop 2 here, but that would also require bomber to counter enemy drop. So he's doing the save because he's not really protecting his drop, which is not best, but so far it's working. So he's gonna establish a small base here, also do this island. And I think he haven't scouted much yet. And well, now we can see that he has a problem in his base. Some interceptors flying over there, so that means that there won't be anywhere else on the map. So if he saved the transport, he would be safe to drop somewhere else. And looks like the top island is gonna be his. There are no units so far. And the bottom, yeah, Mr. Smith successfully dropped there, and this is the time where you would need a bomber, which Tokyto doesn't have, so too bad for him. Looks like he won't get this island because there are already 2 inches there, and yeah, I bet there are 2 on the top. So that's exactly what Mr. Smooth did. Transport, so I guess he even dropped 1 NG here. And Tokyto is gonna start Navy T1. Gonna be Cyber on Cyber Navy, so the thing that will matter is who will go T2 first. So far pretty good eco from Tokyto. And as we can see here, their ecos are pretty much the same. He's getting successfully the island, but he's a little bit later on grabbing the maxes because he dropped all those NGs on it, on the top of the island, and Mr. Smith just split them everywhere. It's Cyber Transport that can take 6 NGs, so I guess he dropped 1 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 1 there. So he took all the maxes as fast as he could, and he didn't even build factory first there, so he believed that he will just get it without any resistance, and well, it was worth it. Now Tokyto drop into the middle, so it's Mr. Smith, but Tokyto is a bit faster, yeah. It's gonna be successfully denying the NGs. So far it's really even, and look at the maxes. It's T1, still T1 maxes, and Mr. Smith already on some T2s and also T2R. It looks like Tokyto is a bit behind in eco, but I guess he has to be reclaiming more. But he isn't for lead, and now Corsair's coming, so he will have to spend a bit more air. He's doing right now, going for T2 pigeon, and then he will have to spam more air. Yeah, this is the time when he realized there's no air control for him. And so far, I don't see any snipe attempt or any cheese, no beetles drop. Guess he will try something else, because I don't believe he will just go for normal play. Well, normal. Depends what you consider normal. Yeah, he's gonna need definitely more air. He's losing the middle, but still got 2 islands secured, so... And nice drop. Killing few mass extractors and gonna kill at least this one. How does it look with Navy? Is he going T2? Not yet. About Mr. Smith, hard to say, but yeah, I think this is a T2 naval factory, because you can see all the NGs come down. Not yet. Okay, I'm surprised. I would bet that would be T2, but looks like he's just going for massive T1 Navy. Yeah, and if you come in a base like that and you don't have much chances killing anything, you always have to try kill NGs. That will slow enemy down. And Tokyto is on T2 Navy up here, and is that it's actually a nice placement of the T2 Navy, because not many people are scouting this way and they're expecting you to have a T2 Navy somewhere in your base, which is the most secure way to do it. Let's see, the scouts are coming this way. Yeah, so okay, so this Smith scouted it. And never mind. But it's always nice to see some different placement. It didn't work this time, but can work some other time. And still quite nice eco, and Tokyto can afford to go maybe Ras and rush T3 air right now. Yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna do. And if you're going Ras with T2 ACU, you don't really have 3k power for that, so what you wanna do is to start the Ras, pose it, and assist like with 1 or 2 NGs. 1 NG is 500 energy, so it depends how much you have. And you don't wanna be in power stalling when you're doing Ras, because when you power stall, you're not getting the mass income you can get. So always just use as much energy as you have and not stall, even if going for such expensive upgrades like a Ras is. Okay, so now just some small navy fight where Tokyto has to retreat, because that's quite nice T1 frigate from Mr. Smith. Tokyto with he went for a cruiser because he saw he's a bit behind in the air, and Mr. Smith is using his T2 air really good. He managed to kill the middle island, and I bet he's gonna go harass somewhere else. Now Mr. Smith is switching to T2 Navy, so soon any advantage will be gone, because as you can see right now, Tokyto has already like 42 ships, but we are in the back, so they're not really helping. Yeah, and Corsairs used to snipe Navy. It's nice. Okay, so Tokyto cleaning up the middle island, so that evens out the map control. Even Tokyto have now one small island more. And he is done with the rest and going for T3. So now what I would bet it's gonna happen, he's gonna try to snipe him with strats, because that's what he would do if he had a chance. And this is exactly the time, because it's still pretty much even, so why not to try something that can lose you a game, like a snipe. Make it a bit more interesting. And people don't expect that quite often, but I bet when they play against us, they kinda expect it already. Not all of them, some are still surprised when they get sniped, which is funny. I guess we have to work our reputation a bit more, and that's exactly what Tokyto's gonna do. Okay, let's see. Yeah, strats. Gonna be interesting if this works, because in this map it's quite easy to just hide your ICU somewhere in the water and strats are useless, so he will have to do it quickly before Mr. Smith decides to go in water. Then it would be nearly impossible to snipe him. Maybe a way how to snipe ACU that is in water with Cybran would be to build some torpedo bombers, T2 transport and put stealth in it, and fly just with the transport. I already saw something like that from Tokyto when he was covering some bombers with that, and it worked quite well. It needs just a bit of coordination with the transport, so they don't fly with the range of the stealth, but when it works, it looks really cool. Now there's not much action on the map. And usually when you're fighting like that and suddenly your opponent is gonna just retreat, you should scout more because he's planning something big. And from what I've seen from Mr. Smith, he's sending scout all the time, but he usually sends them in one direction. He puts one factory on scout production with infinite build and send them on still the same way, so that's not the best way how to do it. I prefer some manual scouting when I put in my air factory like 1 scout and 5 inties for infinite build, and whenever I had a scout or I need to scout, I can send it on different way, so it's much harder to deny it. But this cruiser is just sitting here and eating veterancy. So how many? We have already 3 strats, and he just scouted with ACU, and this is the best target to be sniped. Also, if he would be under shield or 2, it's not really stopping anything, because it's Cybran shield and they are bad. But right now, Miss is retreating to the water, and Tokyto is being stratted. So this is gonna be interesting. Who will snipe first?
Commander under attack.
This bomber needs like 3 more passes to kill him. And Smith is already underwater. Okay, is it gonna be? Oh, this was close. This was really close, but I don't know if he can snipe him underwater. Trying ground fire, he knows where he is, so this is gonna be interesting. Tokyto is, yeah, he's gonna survive a few more seconds. Bombs are on the way, and oh my god, successfully sniped. How deep is that? I thought it's much deeper. I guess there are no barriers for Cybern strats. Okay, so as I expected, first game, first snipe. Welcome to the second game of the final, and for this map I bet it was Tokyto's choose, and this is Ada. And again we have Cybern on Cybern. And in first game Tokyto sniped successfully missed the Smith with strats, and on this map I expect some more snipes. Maybe it's really weird for you, how can you snipe on such a small map? But let's see. I hope Tokyto does that. And Tokyto is wishing him not to get sniped, but and it's like not to get sniped. Boom, sniping. So far it's underbuilt, going for Hydro without a P-gen. Some NGs, Mantis scouts to protect the NGs that are expanding, and only 2 factories queued up, so I guess this is gonna be fast T2. And you know what's coming with T2 Cyberland? Hills. And really good thing about builds, or good thing, maybe it's even a bad thing about builds, it's if you just, instead of rhinos, when you're going T2 you build rhinos and then you switch to builds, you won't lose much map control and you have your snipe ready. So it doesn't look much suspicious, and if the enemy isn't scouting, he can get sniped easily because you are lacking just like 2, well not 2, 3 or 4 rhinos on a field, which is not that big difference. You will start losing, you need to retreat a bit. But it doesn't look that suspicious, like if you're going for T2 area or something, then you won't have pretty much any land. And first small fight on the right side. This is gonna be... let's see. Looks like they're retreating back to their home. The thing about Mantis, if you micro it too much, it's not really shooting, so I found out that you need to know how to micro it. You can't just dance like on to the sides like with every other unit, because it will stop shooting. So sometimes it's just better not to micro it at all, and you will kill the Mantis that is being microed. Kita is saving NG, that's a good thing, and sending more Mantis to support, and with ACU going for the middle reclaim, that's pretty usual, and he's gonna need it for the T2 land, which is going right now. Could also use the radar, which is gonna build it. Good. And the wall from Mr. Smith, and it's gonna be in time. Yeah. Okay, so he successfully denied this push by building wall, so you can see how powerful the wall can be. And so far, if you look on from Mr. Smith's perspective, it doesn't look like he's going for any snipe right now. For now, it can. He has only one radar, he didn't scout it, so you might expect some more units are on the left side, which he just saw a few units, and he's going for T1 land spam, so it's gonna push with the ACU and just spam units. And that can be countered with T2 land, if you know how to do it. I tried that in a beta tourney and I successfully won it, so it can be done. And he will just try to outspam Tokyto, and think about this, when you're going for Beetle Snipe, the thing you want is enemy ACU right in your base, so you don't need to fly that far to kill it. And this is pretty vulnerable ACU. So after this Rhino, I'm sure we're gonna see some Beetles. And think about this wall. If you build a wall on a data and you want to have the position secured, wall is not enough. You also need a PD here, so it can kill the units if the wall is reclaimed, like in this case. Because you build a wall and you think, okay, units can't go right now through there, but the mistake. One NG can deny it, and suddenly Mr. Smith will lose 2 Nazi extractors and maybe even a radar, and he thought this is a secure position. Yeah, in this case, Mr. Smith haven't scouted with air on anything yet. He can see that Tokyto is on T2 land now, and just because he doesn't know Tokyto very well, he's pushing with the ACU more and more. Not afraid of beetles, but that's a mistake. Yes, now he's just dead. He doesn't know it, but he's already dead. You can see just simple transport. You queue up command, transport, attack the ACU, and drop it in front. In walking ACU, you can drop it on the head. GG, snipe successful. So 2 snipes for Tokyto. So far he's winning the series 2-0. Game 3 is gonna be played on Series Major. This map there's a bit of reclaim next to the hills, also these 3 are good to reclaim. And of course the middle with the Quantum Gateway. It's a really nice boost if you get it. It's just protected by 2 T1 PDs, so it's not that hard. And again, both players choosing to play Cybran. I think it's not gonna change for the future games either, because they both like Cybrans. And so far it was 2 successful snipes from Tokyto, so it's just 1 snipe or 1 win from victory and defending his title successfully. So now Mr. Smith needs to be really careful for his ACU and try some different things. He will have to attack a bit less without the ACU, because he attacks too much with the ACU. It's pretty sure that Tokyto will snipe him, or at least he will try to snipe him. And this map, which most players do, they're just spam units. But what Tokyto does, he builds TML, Beetles, Corsairs. And it works so far, because he defended the title quite a few times already. Well, not the under 1900 champion, he's been defending like once or maybe 2 times, I believe. But when he was playing lower division, he was quite successful in it. He's been a champion for a long time, and even in that he was sniping a lot. And that's the funny thing, that even players that expecting snipes are easy to snipe when you're Tokyto. So let's see what he's gonna do this time. And let's look again from his point of view. So for now he's playing some NGs, for now just expanding, protecting the NGs, and 2 factories on the top. So on this map you can send ACU right here and build a factory on the top, so you don't need to walk all the way. Much faster, and you can't really use your ACU too much at the beginning, so you don't need to go there yourself and shoot anything, because there won't be anything, so it's just better to build a factory like that. Bomber. Deny some NGs. I get this is first victim. Yeah, on this map you want to always try to deny the NGs that are expanding on the top, because that's quite a long distance, and if you lose NG that is already like here, then you need another minute or 2 to send another NG. And you can do that even with bombers, or you just send a few mantis, deny the NG. And since Mr. Smith is not going for bombers really. I would expect him to send some mantis, which is not optional for Tokyto because he has just 2 mantis and 2 scouts, and that's not gonna care of anyone. And Tokyto is gonna go for the middle mass with the artillery. He's preparing for that. Soon he will have to send his ACU to protect it as well. But no, he's going for T2. So I guess he will try the TML. He doesn't really have energy for going to T2. You can see even if he stops the upgrade, he will have just barely enough energy. So maybe this was too early T2. So splitting this group of NG, put 2 like here and 2 there to reclaim the trees faster, because those are the gives energy, and if you reclaim them in chunks, it will help you if you power stalling like that. He stopped the air production, which is good, and 4 NGs or power spam, I guess he's gonna be fine. This will put him just slightly behind, and as expected he lost this position, but he managed to save the NG, that's good. He can build factory here. That depends if Mr. Smith is paying attention to his scouts, which is also a quite common mistake, that people scouts a lot, but they don't really look what they're scouting. That's the thing about Mr. Smith. We see him already that he likes to build 1 air factory just for scouts and send them all the time. So, but in reality, he just wasted like at least 80% of the scouts because he can't be looking all the time what's going on in Tokyto's base. So if you need a scout, you can send your scout once in a while and just look what's going there, and you don't need to send scouts continuously because it's taking, it doesn't look like it's too much, but it's taking 6 mass per second to build a scout. I believe it's 6, let's see, or no, it's just 5, but even 5 mass can be a difference when you don't have many maxes, and you can use the mass much more efficiently. And we can see heavy air from Mr. Smith already having air control, and also when Tokyto couldn't build air because of power stalling, and now the gun from Mr. Smith, so he's pushing with the ACU and covering with air. So this is the way how to not get beetle sniped, and that's the one thing that Mr. Smith is worrying about. We have already T2 land for Tokyto, but Tokyto also managed to send sneak some units here, so Mr. Smith also doesn't have his expansion on the top, even things out a bit. But Tokyto doesn't really have units, and it's hard to counter Gant ACU with a lot of spam with just the PDs. PDs can be overcharged and overwhelmed with all those units. And if you're going just full T2 units, it's also easy to overcharge them, so you really need to avoid the ACU and definitely not going in like that. There's the ACU and just 1-2 quick overcharges and your whole army is gone. Your army that was supposed to defend your base. Tokyto has pretty much nothing right now in its base, just the 1 PD. And so far there's no really way how to snipe Mr. Smith. You can't snipe him with air because he doesn't have air. You can't snipe him with beetles because the transport can't go around that much air, especially when Mr. Smith is paying attention to that and still having his air next to his ACU. It looks really bad for Tokyto. I don't know what he can do with this. The Mr. Smith is going T2 land right now, so he will catch up with the tech difference, and he's using his ACU really well. He overcharged quite a lot of T2 units, so and Tokyto can't use his ACU much in a fight. He has T2 and Madigan, and all those units he can't even send them on this force, which is the main force attacking. They will be overcharged, so he needs to send them somewhere else. But he can't do that either, because then he would have no units to defend his base. So he will try to do that with PDs. And think about PDs. With Cyber PDs, they don't really shoot over this land. So I don't know how successful it's gonna be with the T2 PD. I think it will shoot ground. You need to be really careful where you place it. And Tokyto is building some beetles, but I don't think it's gonna work this time. That would have to be a lot of luck to manage to snag Mr. Smith, and since he has T2 land, I expect him to have some flag around his ACU. And you wonder how much flag you need next to your ACU. You need at least two mobile flags to die beetle drop, but 3 is optional to be really sure. Beetle loading up. But just 2 beetles, that's not enough, so I don't know what this is supposed to mean. And the TMLs is like the last hope, but Mr. Smith should be able to scout it, and he's moving his ACU. It's gonna be even harder to hit him with TMLs. That would require even more luck to hit the working ACU, and he's changing direction so often. It's impossible right now. And Mr. Smith also getting the recalling for middle. I'm sure he secured the top position, so right now he's really ahead. And Tokyto is going for T3 land, and that's like the last hope. If he manages to build the bricks or 2, he will be able to defend temporarily, but Mr. Smith is already so ahead, I don't know if it will be enough. He's still afraid to just take his ACU and units and attack Tokyto's base. He knows something bad could happen, some snipe. So he just keep raiding everywhere with his units. And there's one snipe, let's see. And he's moving. Too bad, too bad. Looks like this is gonna be game for Mr. Smith. Because the TML was quite a huge investment, and now he's gonna even lose it, so there's not gonna be no second try. And now Tokyto's units in his base, he can't really deal with this. This is over. So well played for Mr. Smith. He used his units really well. Also the Gant ACU worked quite well against Tokyto. I guess Tokyto just wanted to build some TMs here, and he didn't really expect Mr. Smith going gun. And when he saw a gun, it was too late to defend it successfully. So let's just wait for the end of this game. And this is gonna be in series 2-1 for Tokyto, and Tokyto still needs just one victory to defend this title. Now here's the over. Found your weakness flag. Well, that's not really a weakness if you're facing TML. I think Tokyto was just teasing with the beetles. He wanted the TML, not the beetles in this game. Looks like Mr. Smith will be sniped a few more times until he realized that beetles are not everything. Welcome to the 4th game, and this one is played on Canis 4v4. And this map was chosen by Mr. Smith again, so he prefers some bigger maps where he can eco a bit more. So let's see how this one will go. It already played this map a few times, so I don't know how to play it. And this map, it's gonna be hard to snipe, but I bet Tokyto will try something. Always tries. Let's see. RT, stamps, shields, TMDs. That's what Mr. Smith is gonna do. See how it's gonna work. Some basics to the map. If you're playing this 1v1, what you wanna do, really get those hydras because they are cheap and giving a lot of energies to wanna build one hydra after another. Quickly expand and reclaim all the mass and pick up. For now, just full NGs. Tokyto is not gonna harass with some hunters or mantis. I guess he's too lazy for that right now. So I expect him to build bomber. That is much easier. Not even bomber. So it's surprising. I don't know it that much, that well. And now going for the hydro a bit later. I think instead of the pigeons, I would just go for the hydro right now. And adjacency to those mass extractors, that's nice. Especially if you upgrade all the factories to T2 or later even to T3 and you're using adjacency, it's helping a lot. So that's a good thing to do. Let's see. Not many, I guess not even many raids from Mr. Smith. We will see on these NGs if they survive or not. Mr. Smith is starting some T1 units. So Tokyto needs to do it as well because so far he was just building econ. He have just 2 factories and one is using 4 NGs, so he really needs to work on that. And build hydros faster. He can't really use all the mass that he has available right now. First scout from Mr. Smith was denied. It's not really optional. If you first scout get killed like that, so you don't really know what's going on in enemy's base. I'm surprised there is no unit to kill those 2 NGs that are completely unprotected, or even left side. I would expect from Mr. Smith to send something like that, but I think I saw a wall here. So Mr. Smith is going defensively and building walls already. Well, wall can easily stop all those units that would come here, but thing is, when you're playing against Tokyto, he's not gonna spam too much. But that's also about knowing your enemy, and it can be easier for me to say because I'm playing with him a lot and I know how he plays. And this is nice, denying these factories and NGs. But also Mr. Smith is gonna be later grabbing this because of building the wall, so that can even things out easily. And finally some units pushing here to kill the NGs and the maxes. And the same thing, the Tokyto, but just with less units, but it's gonna be successful as Mr. Smith push, even with less units. And when you see there are units coming in this direction and you have already 4 NGs here, you can just rush the PD. There's nothing better than it. Build 1 PD in this time, in this position, even when you're not gonna use it much in the future, you will defend it successfully, kill the mantis faster, and you don't even need to send all those units to kill them. You can use the units to harass faster. T2 on Tokyto's ACU, so that might be another TML. But on 1v1 it's not that powerful like in team games, because with that much mass you have available, it's really obvious that even your opponent is gonna go for T2 really soon, so he will have some TMD ready. So maybe it's just the T2 to get it and maybe some power, something. And so far Tokyto can see that Mr. Smith is echoing much more than him. So he really needs to use all his units to try deny all the expansions, because right now if Mr. Smith is echoing like that, he won't have units to defend everywhere. So Tokyto can use that advantage and send the units he has and free up the expansions fast to start reclaiming. He really needs to start reclaiming more, pretty much everywhere, and he can still catch up with Mr. Smith. And Tokyto again going to use Rhinos, and also if you send Mantis on this map, you can send like only 2 times. Once when you build it and some second group, and then when you're going with third group, you will already face Rhinos by the time you will come to enemy base. So using of T1 on this map is very time limited, and we can see that Mr. Smith is switching massively to T2, so he's gonna build a lot of T2. A lot of Rhinos with Medusas, and it's even great to put stealth in it. I bet I saw some Wagner here. Let's see how it goes. So far, yeah, Tokyto is successfully denying this part, and now he's gonna run into the wall. So let's see if the wall is built properly. Like a nice wall, but he can still send the artillery like closer, even on the top, to kill that one max. It will stop him from going to the base, but he can still deny all of that. So now, as we can see, that even when he is behind in eco, he is still pretty much the same with the Smith on mass income, because he just denied all the map from him, and he's taking it. So everything that Mr. Smith had in T2 maxes, Tokyto has in T1 everywhere on the map, and also spamming quite a lot of T2. And this had to be dropped there, otherwise I don't see how that could come there. And now the Wagners. So Mr. Smith is doing nice thing, he's sending the Wagners through the river. He will just have to cross there, and he can just go all the way around to sneak the back of Tokyto's base, and sometimes it's really hard to spot, even if it says commander under attack, you don't need to notice that. And now, yeah, Mr. Smith is having much superior T2 force, so Tokyto will have to regroup his units in order to attack efficiently and actually killing some things, because this right now he's just wasting his units if he keeps sending them in groups. And Spider already. So this is interesting. If you can snipe your opponent with Beetles, Corsairs, or anything, TMLs, we'll just build a spider and snipe him with spiders. Let's see how that goes. The very good thing about this, that you won't lose much while building the spider. You can do it quite quickly because it's cheap, and especially on this map with flooded reclaim, it's going up really fast right now. And Tokyto is ready to deny any scouting. You can see again Mr. Smith sending all his scouts one direction, which is not really efficient scouting. You can see 2 interceptors denying all the scouts, all the mass wasted for nothing. And there is a Sam with a T1 deny scouts, but I think now it got scouted. If he paid attention, he could see that Tokyto is building spider right now. Is he gonna respond with his own spider? Not yet. Back to the Tokyto. He's pushing quite nice into Mr. Smith base, but you can see that there are quite a lot of T3 maxes already. So it's T3 maxes against map control for now. The eco is still quite even, but the difference is that Tokyto already has a spider. Which is not a big thing for Mr. Smith, but with this eco and a lot of build power, he can rush his spider if he paying attention to that. And for now, Tokyto can switch to the free land or build another spider. He's burning just some defenses and still pushing into base. But right now this is not gonna be successful. With that few units, it would be better to just keep patrolling them over here to deny any potential expanding NGs, reclaiming NGs. Now loyalists. This is gonna be Rhino Scout. Yeah. And Mr. Smith is going for the spider and it's almost done, so as expected. This is too late for Tokyto spider, he needs to turn and run. Spider will be in time. And this is starting to be even better for Tokyto because he already denied a lot of control from Mr. Smith. And now he has a spider. And Mr. Smith can't really send his spider to attack because he knows there's already Tokyto spider coming around the base, and if he sends his spider, he will die. So Tokyto is right now with his spider denying even more map control because Mr. Smith can't really attack with his units, he needs them to defend against this spider, and this spider will soon have some veterans in. And yeah, Mr. Smith doesn't look like he has Omni yet, so we don't know where the spider is. Let's see, and as I expected, another spider from Tokyto. Why would you have only one when you can have two, right? So he's just gonna use this spider to start killing slowly Mr. Smith base, and then he will come with a second spider and win the game with two spiders. Just going outside, killing a few things, going back. Again, this is how to play this. And with the scouts, Tokyto is doing the same thing, sending discounts, but this are good. He keeps scouting all the time. And second spider is done, and this looks like gonna be victory for Tokyto because Mr. Smith is not really building another experimental, and one spider is not gonna be enough for this. You can see that Mr. Smith has no kills, or maybe just some kills from the scouts, but he can't really use his spider, he just have to sit in his base and wait where Tokyto is gonna attack. Meanwhile, the second spider is coming. But Mr. Smith still has no eco, so he could afford to build a second spider. But he's not really intending to do it right now. And maybe just because of the lack of scouting, because Tokyto denied all the map control, so Mr. Smith doesn't really know that he needs a second spider to at least have a chance. Now we have two spiders from two sides, and this is gonna be over for Mr. Smith. So he managed to defend against all those TMLs and Beetle Slimes, but didn't really count with that many spiders. And now he wanted to go for Megalith. you could afford that if you had a little bit more map control. So well played from Tokyto. You defended this title successfully. I hope you guys enjoyed it.